Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Sun National Bank, QualCare Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and banking under the principle of stewardship. PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Fedway Associates, Inc., the Russell Berry Foundation, and by Cohn Resnick, providing accounting, tax, and advisory services for more than 90 years.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Isn't that great? Hey, folks, sometimes we have underachievers on the show, and today's one of those shows, and unfortunately, I'm going to introduce her right now. Right? Okay? Autumn DeForest is an 11-year-old artist prodigy. I am joking. You are anything but an underachiever. Can I tell some folks some things about you?
Sure.
You began painting at the age of 5 in your garage. At the age of 7, Autumn sold her first painting for over $1,000. At the age of 8, her first auction, Autumn sold over $100,000 worth of paintings in 16 minutes and signed a worldwide publishing and management agreement. In her 9th year, Autumn signed a worldwide licensing agreement and continued to sell an overwhelming amount of artwork, totaling over $400,000. Collectors of Picasso, Andy Warhol also own works of Autumn. Now, at the ripe old age of 11, Autumn is homeschooled, and her family live in Las Vegas. She flew in today to do the show, and she is featured as a child genius special on the Discovery Channel. How you doing?
Great.
Too bad you don't do that much. How are you? You look great.
Thank you.
And your artwork is very special.
Thank you very much.
And you honor us by being with us. Let's go back. You're 5 years old.
Yes.
You're out in the garage.
Yes.
And what are you doing?
Well, one day I skipped out in the garage and I asked my father if he was staining some wood, and I asked him if I could mess around, and he said sure. And I just picked up some wood and some of the paint, and I started, and I loved it so much, and experimenting with bold gestures and all different kinds of abstract ideas. And then when I started doing more paintings, and I loved it so much, and I realized I want to change the world for the better through painting and inspire others that painting is fantastic.
You want to change the world?
Yes, I want to change the world for the better. They're taking art out of schools, and I think
art education.
Art
You're
education.
You're a big fan of art education, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, I think it's incredibly important, and I think that as math and reading is important, art is incredibly important, and I think when you do art, your mind is just exploring so many ideas, and you're using your mind to create, and I think that can change the world. Do
you mind if we look at some of your artwork?
Sure.
Hey, Bob, Bob Morris is an artist. You may not realize that, but he's a director. He's a great artist. At 5, he was in his garage making film. What are we looking at first? You have to talk us through this. This is American Graphic?
Yes, American Graphic. I loved Grant Wood, and I thought with his painting, I was so inspired when I looked into an art book and I saw it. And I thought, how interesting would it be to experiment with a crayon in the place of a pitchfork? And I put it out on the canvas, and I realized, wow, that is what I was inspired by, and that's what I put down, and I loved that. I loved how I just took an idea from a very famous artist and twisted it into my personality.
You're inspired a lot. What's the next one? Barbie Marilyn.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I was inspired by Andy Warhol, yes, and my grandmother gave me a Barbie doll of Marilyn Monroe from 7 Year Itch, and I said, wow.
From the movie 7 Year Itch?
Yes, from
right.
the movie 7 Year Itch, the model,
right.
Marilyn Monroe. And I loved it so much, and I thought, how interesting would it be to take the idea of Andy Warhol painting Marilyn Monroe and mix those two ideas.
Your brain, your mind is rich with a lot of inspiration. What do we have now? This is self-portrait? I'm dying to see this one. Self-portrait.
Autumn Rose.
Autumn Rose, go ahead.
I was at the park once, and my father and my mother was taking pictures, and I was looking at a flower once, and they took a picture of me looking at the flower, and the flower's not in the picture, but they got my face. And when I was skipping through pictures, I saw that, and I loved it, and it inspired me to do a painting.
Your parents have been very supportive of you?
Yes, very supportive.
From day one?
Yes. They have gotten paints and paintings for me to experiment with.
By the way, before we show the next painting, how important is it to you that your paintings sell and sell for a lot of money? Because they do.
I feel as though it's important to have a piece of my imagination in a person's home. I'm not the money girl. I want to inspire others, and I want to have my painting in their home because it spoke to them, and I want them to have that joy. You
may not be the money girl, as you say, but you're raising money through your artwork, and you've helped several relief efforts in Haiti,
yes,
in Japan, and most recently Hurricane Sandy.
Yes, I have done a painting. In July, I'm going to do a show in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, and I'm going to be unveiling a painting for Sandy. It's going to be huge, and when I sell it, all the money will be going to the families who lost so much in that terrible disaster, and it is of two women holding hands from the New York flag and the New Jersey flag, because there's two women on each side in each flag, and they're holding their hands.
And you've all told our producers that you feel that every child should be able to have Christmas.
Yes, yes. A lot of kids didn't have Christmas because of Hurricane Sandy. They lost their homes, and they lost their toys, and I think that every child should celebrate the life of Christmas.
Ready for another one?
Sure.
Which one is this one? Einstein. Talk about it.
Well,
Why does that get a laugh out of you?
Well, he's spitting his tongue. I mean...
Einstein sticking his tongue out. What inspired you to come up with that?
Well, I mean, come on, it's the classic. He's such a smart mind and so serious, and invented so many ways to look at math, and now he's sticking his tongue out, and now he's being silly, and I thought, how
Is he making fun of us?
No.
Right behind you. Can we do the, you have an order. Can we do the Las Vegas is one of them? Do your hometown, Las Vegas. Let's do Las Vegas, go ahead. Talk about Las Vegas, wow. Love it. Electric
Cowboy, that's the name. I did a deal with THQ. It's a video game company, huge video game company. I loved, they have a product named Udraw, and I did that on Udraw. But I thought after I did that, I loved it so much that I thought, how about do a painting for it?
Well, there's one that I want to show over here. It's Dripping Summer. Could you do Dripping Summer? It happens to be, you may not be able to pick it up on the television screen, but it's actually over Autumn's shoulder right here in the studio, the actual painting. And so the texture of it is hard to pick up. Dripping Summer, describe it.
last year I did a show in Stone Harbor, and I loved it so much because I almost named this painting Anticipation. And because right over that ridge is the ocean. You can smell the sea salt. You can hear the crashing waves, and I thought, how interesting would it be to paint, to catch that image, and each dripping ball represents somebody's fantastic memories at the beach, and every blade of grass represents everyone who's been to the beach. And I had so much fun there, I decided to paint that memory. Shifting
gears dramatically from the Jersey Shore to Times Square.
Yes.
You have a piece called Times Square. Talk about it.
When I did the Today Show, and I went to New York a couple years ago, they shut down.
Guys, could we show? There it is.
They shut down Times Square for the BBC to do a segment with me, and they.
Wow, there it is.
They did a shot of my mother and I. That's the if you can see it.
Twice as big as you are.
Yes. My mother and I are holding hands walking down Times Square, and they did a shot of us doing that, and I saw it and I thought, wow, what a fantastic painting. And I had to actually put that painting on the ground to paint it, and my father built me a bridge and he put that over the painting so I could reach the middle.
Before I let you out of here, I'm going to ask you this. I don't know if you know this for sure. Do you think that you were born with this special gift?
I think God gave me this special gift, and I want to help people and inspire people with my gift. And I feel as though when you take something that you love and you make it big and make it to help people, I think that's fantastic. And I think that I want every kid to have the opportunity to sit down with a canvas or a piece of paper with paint or watercolors or crayons and be able to express themselves.
We think you're terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming all the way in from Las Vegas.
Thank you.
And sharing your art and sharing yourself with us.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right.
Wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you very much.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
Kathy McKean is a registered nurse, but she's also a senior manager, patient care services, Riverview Medical Center, the Children's Art Therapy Program. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We have worked together before. I've done some executive coaching down there, and one of the things I'm so excited about, we're actually going to show a clip from a piece called Tyler's Reef, which actually won an Emmy for its work in connection with art therapy and dealing with the grief of children who have either lost a loved one or are dealing with the chronic illness of a loved one, right?
Correct.
Talk about that. Children face some real tough stuff.
Yeah, it is very tough stuff, especially for children, and that's why the program was started. The program started 33 years ago at Riverview Medical Center.
Why?
A nurse was caring for a woman who was dying of cancer, and this woman had 2 small children. And she reached out to the nurse and she said, I need your help. I need you to provide some support for my children so they can grieve when I'm gone. And the nurse promised her she would. And that was the birth of the Children's Art Therapy Program at Riverview Medical Center in 1980.
Why is it so interesting? Because I know your operation well, part of the Meridian system, and our mutual friend down there, Tim Hogan, and John Lloyd, who heads the whole system. We've talked about this a lot. Why is it that nurses are the ones who very often are right there for the children? Why?
Well, nurses have that unusual relationship with the patient because they're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. All the other disciplines come and go and have shorter interactions, but nurses are there and they can't leave. They have full responsibility for that patient. And in caring for dying patients, sometimes you get unusual requests. You know, at end of life, this woman was dying, it was end of life, and they depend on you to be more than just their caregiver. Now you're their confidant, you're someone that they're, you know, expressing their last wishes to, and you're there. No one else is. In the middle of the night when they're lonely and they're fearful, it's the nurse who's at the bedside. It's an unusual...
Special people.
Yeah, it is. And it puts you in a very unusual position, but it also gives you an opportunity to do things that you might not have the chance to do otherwise.
In art therapy, it's interesting. I always wonder, how is it that art and children expressing themselves or their grief through art, how does it help?
Well, art therapy is nonverbal, and children have a hard time using words to describe their emotions. Sometimes they don't have the vocabulary if they're young enough. They're not comfortable enough with words. Sometimes their emotions are too painful, and they can't find the right words to describe what the emotions are. Sometimes they don't even understand their feelings well enough to know what words to use. So, but they can take emotion and feelings and put it on paper, or make a sculpture of it, or put it in a book. And then when that's in front of them, they can look at it and reflect on it. And it's outside of them suddenly, so it's a little more comfortable to deal with. They can share it.
How old are we talking about here?
Well, the Children's Art Therapy Program is for children aged 4.5 to 13 years old. And that's the way the program's been since its inception in 1980. In general, that's the age group where children have trouble in social situations, or speaking with a counselor and talking through their grief, or even speaking to their own friends and family. So art really does fit that void for them, and brings it out of themselves and onto a medium that they can relate to.
And what's interesting about Tyler's Reef is there's a story about, this helps teens though, does it not?
It does help
Set
teens.
it up real quick.
And really, we had no teen group until we got the funding from Provident Bank to run this short animated film, which we partnered with Small Factory Productions on. We had 5 teenagers who had suffered the loss of a family member. First time we ever used teens.
Right.
We did it over the summer. So the teens had some free time, 3 hours a day for 5 weeks. And you know, teenagers are different in that they don't like a lot of attention on themselves. They don't really want to talk about themselves. So we set it up for them in that, okay, we want you to create a film to help other teens learn how to deal with grief and loss.
And that's Tyler's Reef.
And that's how they worked through their own grief and loss, not even knowing it. They dove right in, they created the short animated production, they created the characters, they narrated it, they drew it. And at the end of that 5-week session, believe it or not, they had worked through their own grief, told their own story, really with the intent of helping other teens. So it's a great dynamic.
That's why we're going to take a quick look at Tyler's Reef. It won an Emmy. Take a look.
I have bad news.
Hey Bozo, wait, where's Tyler?
That's what I have to talk to you about, Angelica. He was caught by a hook. He's gone.
Stop joking around, Bozo. We know you're a clown. That's not something to joke about, Bozo.
I'm not joking, Sally. I'm serious. He's not coming back.
I don't get it. What do you mean he's gone? Where did he go? Why wouldn't he come back? We are inseparable. Did he die, Bozo?
Yeah, the hook took him. I'm so sorry, Angelica.
If only I was with him.
You know, I was there for the screening of this, and I had to watch people's reaction. You've got to get to kids in the way they can relate to it, or in a way they can relate to it. And they related to this.
Yeah, they do. You know, it's very open, it's very honest, and it tells the story in just an honest, simple way,
right.
Which was real great dynamic for the kids. I mean, in particular teenagers, who kind of like it straight and honest and open. It was a beautiful story. They did a great job, and it won an Emmy Award, as you know, and you came and hosted our event for us.
It was great. By the way, show some pictures as we talked to Kathy in the last minute. Show some of the other artwork, because it's really special.
Yeah.
We're looking at some artwork that children have made throughout this program. It is the Children's Art Therapy Program down at the Riverview Medical Center. Let me ask you in a few seconds we have left, what has this done for you?
Well, as a clinician, you know, I've never had much of a creative side, and I never really felt I was much of an artist. But I do appreciate the whole patient, and I knew there were needs that a clinician cannot meet. There's the emotional needs, the psychosocial needs, and that's why we reach out to social workers and our therapists to provide that care for the whole patient. And for me, it really was satisfying because I know that my skills only take the patient so far. And I know that social workers and art therapists bring their expertise in, and all of a sudden, you're bringing the family in, you're surrounding the person with everything they need to be able to go from a bad, tragic situation to really living a good quality of life.
It is a great program, Kathy McKean, Senior Manager, Patient Care Services, Riverview Medical Center, Children's Art Therapy Program. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
We need more programs like that to help children deal with very difficult and painful circumstances. This is One-on-One. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
There he is, Don Katz, founder and CEO of Audible. And let me let folks know, Audible was founded in 1995 by Don as a destination and daily literary service for very serious readers who wish they could read more. You guys are the biggest, the world's largest producer of audiobooks.
Yeah, and distributor.
And when did this idea come to you?
You know, this idea, I was a writer for 20 years. I was one of the original Rolling Stone writers. I wrote a lot of books, and I used to jog listening to audiobooks. And make a long story short, I was supposed to do a book about the digital media revolution 19 or 20 years ago, when there really wasn't a story to tell. And I basically thought it would be interesting if you used emerging new technologies to allow people to download to a digital device that didn't exist, which we invented, which is now in the Smithsonian. 4 years before the iPod, out came with the Audible mobile player. And I thought it'd be interesting to, you know, take a little detour from my writing career and start a company. I thought one book took 5 years, one book 6 years. How long could a company take? And it's taken on a life of its own. There's millions of customers. It's very global, and it's exciting. Even Autumn is a customer. She came out. She said,
Autumn the artist, who was on
Autumn
earlier
the artist,
today.
and there was the app, and she's on her 11th Lemony Snicket book. So it's listening. It's listening.
And you know,
so,
Natalie Sandy, our producer, you have it as well, right? Natalie has it as well. She just showed it to me. You know what's so interesting? You talk about the global piece of this, but the other part of it, which is fascinating to me, is that there's a strong Newark connection. Our mutual friend, Mark Burson, was talking to me about you in a conversation. We were having this whole conversation about Newark and who's committed. You guys came to Newark. Your operation came to Newark in, I believe, 2007.
That's right.
You had 125 employees. Now you have like 600.
Yeah.
Why Newark? You could be anywhere.
There's a lot of reasons. So, you know, we were out in, we started in Montclair, went to Wayne, to you know, shopping mall kind of headquarters, and we needed to move because we were growing. We also needed to move because we wanted access to the actors who you know, to make our audiobooks. But the fact is, I'd become Newarkized. I was on the original board member of Uncommon Schools, a tremendous charter school system.
You're big into education reform. North Star, you're very helpful too, right?
Exactly. And on top of that, I'd met this guy over a dinner when he was still in law school named Cory Booker, who had this vision for Newark.
That'll do it.
But the idea really was, how could you move an aggressive, missionary, visionary company that likes to disrupt and change people's lives into a city and wed that mission with the turnaround of a great American city? And it was, it's turned out to be a fantastic experiment. We literally recruit people because of how we roll. You can only be an intern at Audible if you're an inner city kid. We have, you're a paid intern. We have Audible scholars in college and mentor systems around.
What are Audible scholars?
Audible scholars are some of the North Star kids or public school kids who've done so well that we give them money and support them. They get guaranteed jobs when they're back at Audible, and they're really part of the whole corporate culture. They have to go through the human resources environment, very hard interviews. If they can't perform, they're put on performance improvement plans, just like regular employees. And it's just been a tremendously kind of uplifting part of the culture. And on top of that, we go to all the events. Our softball team plays at Newark Bears Stadium. We've kind of integrated. We get tickets to everything, and it's become a really important part of our culture. And I'm on the Economic Development Board, and trying to be part of the rebirth of a city that's got, as you well know, great bones, great history, and you know, deserves to come back. And it's been a great experiment for us.
It's interesting as a corporate executive, as an entrepreneur, doing what you're doing. As I listen to you talk right now, a lot of it's about education, a lot of it's about young people, a lot of it's about the economic, forget about stability, but viability and the future of the city of Newark. Do you see that as part, I hate to be overly philosophical, but I talked to John Strangfeld at Prudential about this as well. He talked a lot about what we don't do for our veterans, and he spends a lot of time talking about that. Here's my long-winded question. As a CEO, beyond the bottom line of your company, you spend a lot of time thinking about these things.
A lot of time doing it. The fact of the matter is economic institutions ought to have hearts and souls. They ought to have missions, they ought to have values and systems of understanding. And the reality is, in a city, what you realize when you get into it is that most of the people who are political leaders are on something like a 2-year cycle because they're kind of running again. And a lot of the agency heads they're in Newark here, they might be in Baltimore here. The business community tends to be quite consistent. And the other thing about Audible, which is a big part of Amazon now, we all think the same way. We work backwards from a longer vision. And one of the reasons I didn't want to be a public company, so we were in NASDAQ for almost 10 years, was that you have to go very short term. So Newark isn't going to turn around completely after 50 years of deprivation.
That's right.
In a minute. But the kinds of commitments and things like that you can make. The other day I kind of threw a speech out in an op-ed page piece that basically said that we've got to change our thinking about attracting technology-driven businesses, because we're developing all this new human capital of kids who not only will graduate from high school, they're in college now and they're coming out of college, and there's really not enough of the kind of jobs that young, educated people want in Newark yet. And so, there's a lot of things we can do, but we have to think a little differently.
Minute we have left. Future of your company, your industry is?
Basically what's happening, our average customer listens to 19 books a year. We've taken the idea of a book and turned it into a service you use every day, and only 4 of 10 of our customers ever bought an audio book. So the whole concept is going away, and basically storytelling is going to be everywhere in multimedia formats, and there'll be a consumer who doesn't even think about the oral experience or the textual experience, and they'll understand things and learn to read through a different kind of experience. It's digital. It's a big change, and it's all coming on.
So segmenting, fragmenting, saying this is what it is, this is what it's not?
Doesn't matter. We have a new invention called Whisper Sync for Voice, where you literally, you read on a tablet, you put it down at home, you jump in the car, your smartphone plays you the Audible version. It can be Colin Firth or Annette Bening or Anne Hathaway reading you a book. You get home, you pick up your Kindle, you're reading again. These kinds of things are merging together. And the old world of media types will be a thing of the past, and it's exciting. It's great for the creator, actors and writers. We celebrate. We employ tons of actors.
We heard.
It's great for the reader. It's great for the listener.
We want to congratulate you on the success of your company, of Audible, but more importantly, frankly, congratulate you on the work you're doing in the city of Newark, particularly on behalf of young people in the city. Thank you, Don.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Take care.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Sun National Bank, Qualcare Inc., New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, PSE&G, Fedway Associates Inc., the Russell Berry Foundation, and by Cone Resnick. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.